You are actually the first woman who has ever led the Public Utilities Department. Can you talk a little bit about why that took so long and how your journey has led you there?
The Public Utilities Department of Salt Lake City is actually about 170 years old. I believe it actually predated the formation of Salt Lake City government. And because water was one of the first things that our community needed when we settled this area. And there haven't been that many directors of this department over time. It's typically our directors have stayed for a long time, and that's because the institutional knowledge and technical expertise is so important for this department. I was so fortunate. Our previous director, Jeff Niermeyer, really mentored me, and I think really helped me feel like I was ready for this role. He believed in my skills even when I didn't, and I'm always so grateful for him for his mentorship. And I think he was very open to diversity and inclusion in this department as well.
What are you doing right now in your department to make sure that another 100 plus years doesn't go by, before a woman takes the helm again?
Well, succession planning is critically important for a department like ours, and to provide the ongoing services that we do provide. And we have definitely increased the women in leadership in this department over the last few years. I've been the director since 2016, and we have a marked increase of women in leadership positions in our department. Our engineering team, our administrative team, our public engagement team. We have a wonderful team of men and women, but we have definitely increased the women in our department. And I think that's really benefited all of us.
And Laura, you do talk about these women leaders in your department, and what can you tell me a little bit about them, and what are some of the efforts that they're leading right now?
Wow, the efforts that the women in my department are leading right now are quite phenomenal. Um, I mentioned public engagement. We have a wonderful team led by Holly Mullen, who has really created a process and system in our department that we didn't have before. She really created public engagement in a new way from the ground up for our department, which has been so important. Marion Rice, who had served as our water quality and treatment administrator, which is a huge responsibility. She was just promoted to be one of my deputy directors. I now have two deputy directors. And she is still charged with water quality and treatment, but also is taking a lead in equity and inclusion, as well as our street lighting utility, among other things. And I'm very excited about that. Another example, Michelle Berry. She is our PhD process engineer, and she is leading up on the rebuild of some of our water treatment plants, some of our aging water infrastructure, which is going to be critically important over the next few years, and also quite complicated technically. And then we have Tamara Prue, who is our water resources manager, and she is tasked with making sure that we use our water wisely, that we maintain all of our water rights. So there's definitely a lot of legal and technical expertise in that. And then we've also hired Holly Lopez, who is the first ever sustainability manager for our department. And she is tasked with preparing and implementing a long-term sustainability plan that delivers on climate change issues, energy, and those types of things. So the women in my department are just so innovative, and they are really just, they're rocking it.
Young women that are looking to get into the profession of public utilities, but also just leadership positions, right? To move up into
Yeah,
those spaces. It's one thing, to have just a seat at the table, but also to have a voice at the table. Can
yeah,
you talk a little bit about, what advice do you have for young women wanting to get into this profession?
yeah. Well, I think one key component is never stop doubting yourself. Another is passion. go into a field that you feel passionate about and do work that is meaningful to you. Um, Another one is mentorship. You know, there are amazing people out there who are just incredible mentors, and I've been a beneficiary of that. I mentioned Jeff Niermeyer, our former director, but there are also many women, many of my peers, and you know, they've been incredible mentors and sounding boards. It really isn't something that you do by yourself. You know, it definitely takes a team, and that's probably true for anybody. But I think for women entering into leadership, you know, we face certain challenges that having those resources available is very important for us.
Where can people go to get more information and stay connected?
You know, our website is a really great place for people to go for more information and stay connected. And my email address is right there too. And I'm always happy to hear from anyone who's interested in our department. So that is a great place. I'm also on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and would love to hear from you there as well.